Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your March 2018 general readings. Thank you for joining us here today and welcome to any new people who might be with us. Thank you for your likes, shares, subscribes, and for those of you who take the time to send in all your support, feedback, and comments. And always a thank you to all of my clients out there, both regular and new clients, who keep me so joyfully busy and occupied with those personal one-on-one readings. If any of you are interested in a one-on-one reading with me and you haven't read with me before, or you haven't even forgotten the information, you can go to my YouTube channel's homepage, click on the little About button, and that will give you a little more detail and information, and also has my contact details. You can also find my contact info attached to the description of the videos I post. You can email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. I do readings both live and recorded. And turnaround time is pretty quick. I do readings full time, 5 to 6 days a week. It is what I do. And I can fit you in almost always within a 2-week period of time. Sometimes as soon as a few days if I get cancellations or reschedules, but almost always within a couple of weeks. We can set that up for you. For those of you who want to connect with me more quickly or immediately, if you're not looking for the more traditional, in-depth, complex readings, you just maybe have a decision you need to make quickly, or you want to take a quick look at something, you can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy. That's also with my contact details. That's a smartphone app that allows you to connect with me sometimes immediately, but pretty quickly. For quick answers to quick questions. They have a couple of different options. They have a one question, one answer option, or you can open it up for a little reading via text. They have a phone option and also a video chat for those quick question and answer reads. So check that out if you're interested. So make sure to check your rising and your moon sign videos, because these are general readings. There's lots of you watching and everybody has different lives. So your rising and your moon sign videos, if you know them, can often provide additional insight and clarification, and sometimes may resonate a little more predictably for you than your primary sun sign. Because while some of you, I always say the details and specifics will vary because everyone is different, coming from a different place. Some of you, it might resonate in this area of your life, others it might resonate in another area of your life, but the energy and the advice fundamentally remains the same. But it's always a good idea to watch your rising and your moon sign videos if you can. All right, let's move right into this. This reading is for the earth sign of Virgo for March 2018. Let's see what's going on for our Virgoans for March 2018, Virgo. So Virgo, we begin with the 5 of Pentacles, followed by the 9 of Pentacles. We have the 5 of Swords, followed by the 3 of Swords, the 3 of Cups, followed by the Page of Pentacles, and the 8 of Cups, followed by the 6 of Cups. And from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy and guidance is Strength, although another card came out with it, which was the Star. 2 major arcana cards. I feel like they're connected, so I'm going to leave them both out. I got this quite strong, loud message about that 3 of Cups and Page of Pentacles, that some of you are just coming to an awareness and understanding of who your real friends are. How true and loyal your friends are, who your real friends are. It looks like there may have been for some of you, some difficulties and issues with a friend or a group of friends, and it could be just within your social network or social group, friendship group, or it could have been perhaps even at work. And it could be about a specific relationship too, like maybe one friend or even a love and romance relationship. And for a lot of you, although it's a general reading, so timing can sometimes vary too. I feel like this is in regards to a situation that for a lot of you has already happened and you're just kind of going through the process of it. Or it could be ongoing right now for some of you. I am recording these in the last couple of days of February. Your overall energy and guidance is Strength And the star came out with it too. Strength is about facing your fears, your doubts, your insecurities, your worries, wrestling with your demons, so to speak, and moving through them and out the other side, which is something that takes and requires a lot of strength and courage. But it's also more of what you gain strength by doing this, strength and courage and wisdom and insight. It's by facing our fears and moving through them that we gain mastery over them, and therefore mastery over ourselves, and future fears as well become a little easier to deal with, and we're able to move into our future, even if it's an unknown future, with our head held high, at peace with ourselves and our fears and worries, particularly the ones that we have faced and dealt with. It's also accompanied by the star card, which is a card of renewed hope, faith, and optimism. Hope, faith, and confidence, trusting in the path that you're on, trusting that it's the right path, even if you can't really see where it goes, even if you can't see the reason for things. This is one of the wish fulfillment cards. So the path that you're on leads to your joy and fulfillment. It's divine timing and orchestration. You're being asked to walk in faith, which is symbolically what this woman pouring her water out into this reservoir that she's kneeling in kind of symbolizes. She's completely emptying her reserves of water into this reservoir, i.e. being asked to walk in faith, to trust the path that she's on, and trust in divine timing and orchestration that when she needs her pitchers refilled, it'll be there because the source itself is limitless. So it's trust in the path, trust in divine timing and orchestration, and walking in faith means actually doing the work, putting one foot in front of the other, not getting stuck, because Spirit won't do it all for you. It's about putting one foot in front of the other, and Spirit will meet and match you every step of the way, and having faith and confidence that the road that you've chosen, the path that you're taking, is the right one, even if you can't see it in the moment, and walking in faith in that, and facing your fears and your doubts and your insecurities about that as well. That's your overall energy and guidance and advice from Spirit for the month of March 2018, because it looks like you're going through something, or I think a lot of you have very recently gone through something with a person or a group of people that has left you feeling, the challenge is that it's left you perhaps feeling a bit on your own, with the Five of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles can represent, fundamentally it represents insufficiency and lack, not having enough. In financial matters, it could be not having enough money, being out of work, not having enough money to meet all your bills or all your needs, being, homeless, needy, maybe not necessarily literally homeless, but often in the tarot cards, this couple is depicted as outside this church, and sometimes it's raining or snowing, and they look like they're in need, but they're missing something. They're missing the help, because this golden light shining through this church or cathedral window implies that the source of this light, therein is their help, their resources, their what they need to make up for this sense of insufficiency and lack, but they're not looking at it. They're missing it, even though it's right there in front of them, because they're only focused on the negativity or the lack or the insufficiency. They're actually not realizing that the answer, or that what they need, is so close. They just have to ask for it or reach out and take it. It can represent that in financial or work issues as well. On an emotional level, or in a relationship situation, regardless of the nature of that relationship, it can represent feeling rejected, abandoned, left out of the cold, or shut out from a group of people, not belonging, not fitting in, feeling like you're not quite good enough, that you're lacking somehow. And occasionally, sometimes in relationship readings, for like love and romance relationships, the Five of Pentacles can sometimes represent that you're missing something quite potentially beautiful for you right in front of your face. So it can represent, sometimes in love and romance, someone perhaps who's shown interest in you, and just at first glance you kind of dismiss them because they weren't your normal archetype or whatever. But in fact, if you'd taken the time maybe to get to know them a little bit, or take a second look, it could be, turned out to be like a really great relationship or friendship or something of that sort too. So it can sometimes represent that as well. Now, it's clarified and accompanied by the Nine of Pentacles, and I really actually like this because it's kind of a more positive boost from the Five of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles can represent It represents independence, self-sufficiency, self-reliance, knowing that you are beautiful, capable, valued, because look at everything that you've built up for yourself. Nobody's handed all of this abundance that you're enjoying. Nobody's handed it to you on a silver platter. You've earned every bit of it. So you're at a place now where you're enjoying the fruits of your labors with that particular sense of self-confidence and self-empowerment, not egotism, but self-empowerment that comes from knowing that you are a wonderful, beautiful, smart, capable individual, male or female, and you are capable of manifesting your own joy and happiness independent of someone else because you're self-reliant. Not to a negative extreme. This is a healthy self-empowerment and self-acceptance of knowing that you are capable. So for those of you who have recently been in or are recently going through something where perhaps a person or a group of people or some situation has left you feeling like you weren't good enough, or you're insufficient, or you're not this, or you're not enough somehow, you are. Spirit is telling you most definitely you are. And it could be like, that could be, you know, underscoring messages maybe that you've had, you know, that you aren't good enough, that you're not this enough, that you're, you know, not that enough. Remember your overall guidance is to face those fears and doubts and worries and insecurities and march right through them and on the other side of it, and know that you are exactly where you're supposed to be, that you're on the path that you're meant to be, that you're on the road to joy and fulfillment. And that you are everything somebody else may be telling you that you're not, or you have the potential to become that, you know, as a way of kind of combating any feelings of low self-esteem or feeling like somehow you are insufficient, because you're not. For a very small portion of you, there is a bit of cautionary advice here on you may be missing something that could potentially be quite lovely that's very close to you, right in front of you, in your desire or quest to build up for yourself and be very independent and self-reliant and walk your own path, maybe in a way that's not quite so healthy, being a little too focused on, I don't need anybody and I can do it all on my own. And you may in fact be missing the joy that comes from a particular kind of connection, or allowing people to connect with you and help you in some way. So that is a bit of cautionary advice for a few of you out there. Now next to that we have the Five of Swords and the Three of Swords. Victory. I think for a lot of you it represents a hard-won victory. Sometimes this card can represent different types of victory. I always say technically it represents victory. You can see this man has just finished a battle, a challenge of some kind, and his enemies or opponents or foes or competitors are obviously defeated. They're on the ground behind him, and he's gathered up all their weapons, i.e. their ability to hurt him, and he's holding his own weapon aloft in victory. But so even though he's won, the colors are still a bit bleak and murky. He's tired, worn out, exhausted. He's bleeding from a little cut on his forehead. This victory has cost him. Now, the accompanying question with the Five of Swords is always, is this worth it? Was it worth it? Has it been worth it? Is this worth winning? Is what I'm fighting for, maybe I'm fighting to be right, and maybe it's not so important that I end up being right. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it can represent a hard-won victory and one that's worth it. The question is it worth it? Has it been worth it? Is it worth it if you're still in the middle of it? And for some of you, the question might be yes, and for some of you, the question might be no. Sometimes it's cautionary advice when the Five of Swords comes out, because sometimes the people on the ground behind him represents that winning or being right or coming out ahead or being overly ambitious can represent that on the path to doing that. It may cost you personal relationships as well. So a bit of cautionary advice, because for some of you it's a hard-won victory and you may have lost people in the fight to do what's right or to overcome or be victorious, but it was the right path for you to take. So again, it depends on who you are, what your situation is. You'll know when it resonates for you. Now, it's clarified and accompanied by the Three of Swords, which, as you can see from the depiction here, can represent heartache, heartbreak, sometimes breakup, deep emotional pain. Sometimes in relationships, it can represent emotional pain or heartache or breakups due to infidelity or cheating, but not always. And I mean, some of you it could be that if it's focused on a personal love romance relationship. I'm not getting that for a lot of you, but it could be. But fundamentally, it represents emotional pain, deep emotional pain or deep disappointment. And clarifying the Five of Swords for some of you. I mean, the story's going to split a few ways here. As I always say, the details and specifics and general readings are always going to vary because there's thousands of you watching, but the energy remains the same. Some of you, I want to caution you that if you're focused on a really independent path or being overly ambitious or, shutting other people out or not accepting help or that kind of connection, it may end up costing you in the long run relationships or emotional connections which may have potentially provided the opportunity for you to experience joy and healthy relationships. You may be missing that in your kind of quest or your ambition or wanting to come out ahead. It may cost you personal relationships, so you may want to take a second look at that because it may cost you more than it's actually worth. For some of you, you've been through something difficult with a person, a group of people, a situation somehow that you're coming out ahead, but it's been a long battle and a hard battle, and it's you may have lost relationships or had relationships broken. I mean, it may have been kind of emotionally quite painful for you, and you're kind of coming through that. It looks difficult, definitely a hard-won victory, and some of you are overcoming this sense of maybe abandonment or rejection or insufficiency, and you're overcoming a sense of heartache and heartbreak slowly but surely, because remember that overall energy, strength, facing your fears, and having hope and faith and confidence in the path that you're on, because it does lead to joy and fulfillment as long as you keep putting one foot in front of the other. We have the Three of Cups and the Page of Pentacles, and I got quite strongly this message when I laid these cards down about knowing who your true friends really are and about who's really honest and authentic and loyal to you. The Three of Cups can represent it has a strong social theme to it, sometimes referred to as the party card. It can represent being out, having a good time, celebrating, enjoying yourself with other people. And it's not just any other people. It's about friends that maybe you have a history with, friends that you've shared a lot together, you've been through a lot together, authentic friends. You kind of get each other. You don't have to pretend. There is no pretense, sisterhood, brotherhood, kindred spirits, kinship, and enjoying that, really connecting to that. And the Page of Pentacles, earth energy here, so tangible energy about, often practical, concrete things. Pages can represent young people, messengers. They always represent being at the introductory start of something. The Page of Pentacles, when it comes up, can often, not always, but often it can represent just having your eyes open to the reality of something, or just realizing that you're at the beginning of realizing what it actually takes to make something work, or what the reality of a situation actually is. Because that's what the Page of Pentacles really kind of symbolizes. He's the person who's learned all this stuff. He went through school, high school, college, maybe still living at home. Now he's out in the world. He's at the beginning of being out in the world now. And he's having all these real life experiences, rent, mortgages, bills, work, coworkers maybe you don't get along with, or bosses you don't like. He's just starting to come to an awareness of what it actually takes on a practical day-to-day level, what the reality of something actually is. So accompanying by the Three of Cups, I'm strongly feeling, and I did from the very beginning, I think a lot of you, whatever this situation is, some of you, I think it's centered around a group of friends or a group of people or something. It feels like it's more than one person, although for some of you it could be just one relationship. But for a lot of you, I'm feeling it's centered around friends or friendships or a situation maybe that you've gone through. And it's really, you've seen, number one, who your true friends really are, who is there to really support and stand up for you. If the conflict was within a group of people, it's who stood up for you, who was loyal, or if you're going through something, who was there for me. It's like who my real friends really are, where the authentic and the authenticity and loyalty really lies for a lot of you, having come out of or going through this situation. Some of you, again, I feel like you're leaving someone behind, or leaving perhaps people behind, or leaving a group of people behind. Some of you, it could be quite physical. Maybe you're leaving home, or you're moving out of state, or you're leaving everything that you've known behind. But you're leaving something from the past behind, and it could be some relationships or one relationship. Could be love and romance. It could be a group of friends or some friend or perhaps a best friend or even family. Because at or towards the end of the month, we have the Eight of Cups and the Six of Cups. The Eight of Cups is a card of leaving, of walking away, of leaving something behind you, because while it may have started out positively, it's turned out differently than what you thought or what it was presented to be, or perhaps it's just run its course. There's an implication of leaving these cups behind, because whatever they represent, it's disappointing, disillusioning. So you're making a decision quite definitively to leave them behind. Even though you may not necessarily be completely sure of where you're going, you know that you're leaving this behind, you're done. And it's clarified and accompanied by the Six of Cups, which is a card of the past. Reminiscence, nostalgia. It can be a card associated with a long ago past, like childhood, family, parents, roots of origin, where you grew up, something that has the weight of time and history behind it. So again, this is going to play out differently. Some of you, it may literally be leaving home or leaving family behind. It may be that whatever the schism or break was, it could be that you decided to turn your back and leave relationships that were not healthy or that proved to not be genuine, authentic, or loyal, whether it's a romantic partner or a friend or friendships or maybe even some family members as well. So it looks like, Virgo, the month has some challenges, but I feel like for a lot of you, it's just a process you're moving through, because this happens to us in life sometimes. You know, I mean, I can only read what's here. Sometimes it's all very positive, and sometimes it has its challenges, because that's life. So I think for a lot of you, this is something that it feels like it's something that's happened recently. Some of you, it may be ongoing. But the point is that you're moving through it, and you're moving through it successfully. And you're finding out what the reality of things and of people are. And sometimes that reality can be very challenging, but it's better to know than not know. So that if there are people, situations, relationships in your life that are not healthy, as painful as it is to realize that sometimes, it is to our eventual joy and fulfillment, because we need to leave those things behind so that we can move into the path that is intended for us, and have faith in that, which is what the Star card is all about: renewed hope, faith, and optimism, and facing those fears. It can be difficult to leave behind what is familiar and what we've known. But Spirit is asking you, if you're in that position and you feel like it is truly the right decision, have the strength and courage to face those fears about moving on and move on, because that's where your joy and fulfillment lies. So challenging, but beautiful movement and tremendous opportunities for growth and evolvement, and increasing your own inner strength, confidence, and faith as well, Virgo. So that pretty much wraps up your March 2018 general reading. Again, if any of you are interested in a personal, tailored just for you, one-on-one reading with me, go to my YouTube channel's homepage, click on that About button for more information and details. You can also find it attached to the description of all the videos I post. Email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you and set up a personal reading with you, live or recorded, as quickly as possible. And you can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy. That's also with my contact info. It's a way to connect with me more immediately, not for the in-depth traditional readings, but just for those quick questions and answers sort of things. So check it all out if you're interested. And I will see you all again in a couple of weeks, Virgo, for the March 2018 general mid-month readings. And until then, as I always say, and I always mean, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy, happy life. Take care, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.